So, a 1-0 win for Everton has put a big dent in Arsenal's hopes of finishing in the top four. But just talking to Seamus Coleman there, 1-0, the least Everton deserved.
Yeah, it was a totally dominant display from them. Maybe a spell just after half time, maybe a spell right at the start of the game. But I just thought Everton was so good all over the pitch today. I think the way that they started the game, I think they started with the right tempo. They were catching Arsenal out so many times when Arsenal's two wing-backs were playing too far forward, and it was a really good way in for them. I thought Richarlison and Bernard had a big influence. Dominic Calvert-Lewin rightly got the Man of the Match award today, and everyone throughout the pitch today for Everton were outstanding, and it just goes to show the vulnerabilities within that Arsenal side more than anything.
It's funny, we've probably spent as much time here as we spent at the Aviva Stadium over the last couple of years, and there have been a lot of similarities. I was just pointing that out to Coleman, that there's been frustrations and it's been slow, and actually the flip for both sides is at home, getting the crowd behind them. Tactically there's not a huge amount different for Everton, but it's just actually starting the game with a bit of intensity and acting like a home side.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Sometimes you and I will sit down constantly, we'll talk about tactics, how teams are being lined up, what they're doing in possession without the ball, of course. And you're right, I think the way that it started here at Goodison Park for so many games, they've not started with the right tempo, they've not got the crowd behind them, and it's something that we would always look forward to coming here for the very reason is you get a great atmosphere. It's an old stadium, it's very different from many of the other stadiums that we'll go to around the Premier League, and for that reason it's very unique and it's great. So yeah, and I think for that reason today, I think that's what Everton did. They started with the right tempo and got right at them, so it was great.
From back to front, Everton had a lot of stars, from Kurt Zouma at the centre to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who didn't get his goal but was outstanding leading the line. But mentioning Seamus Coleman's performance at right back, there was one-on-one particular with Iwobi which was exceptional defending. Where would you say he is in terms of performance level right now?
I'd say he's right back to his very best. I think that he's got a much better understanding with Richarlison playing ahead of him. I think that certainly helps him going forward. It just seemed to me there was a lack of understanding down Everton's right-hand side when Seamus Coleman played with Theo Walcott or whoever it would have been that played ahead of him. There's a better understanding between him and Richarlison. And Seamus Coleman, both from an attacking point of view and a defensive point of view, I think he's been outstanding. Today I think we saw every side of his game. We saw him getting forward, we saw him bursting beyond Richarlison, getting into crossing positions that we saw last week down at West Ham in creating Bernard's goal, but also the defensive side. You mentioned that bit there with Iwobi, and other bits throughout the game where you can see his leadership skills taking over on the pitch. He's having a real good spell, but it's what we expect from him because of the standard that he's set for such a long time.
Arsenal will be the big story though today. A big chance to end that horrible away record. Now just one win in 9 games, and it was just so flat. It's hard to see that away record changing.
It is. The way that they started the game, you and I commented on it before the game, that they had, when you play Mkhitaryan and Ozil on the same side, you're expecting real attacking play, good creativity. And in all honesty, we didn't see that today from them. Without the ball, they were dreadful. Defensively, they looked as bad as a performance defensively. If you're looking at a back five in the first half, that's not how to do it. What Arsenal did today, they played so high. Dominic Calvert-Lewin bullied them. He was out muscling them. He was too strong, too quick. It was a great performance from him personally, yes, but Arsenal was so naive against him, how they kept on allowing Everton to get in behind. Diagonal balls were easy for Everton to hit, that was getting Richarlison and Bernard into the game. Throughout the team today, Arsenal didn't do enough, both in the attacking third, but more so defensively. It was a
dreadful the players.
I mean, you said in commentary, didn't you? They certainly need to change a lot of the back five or back four, however they're going to play going forward. And I totally agree with it. You know, do I see Mustafi as top class? Do I see Monreal as a top class centre half? No. Do I see Socrates as a top class? No, I don't. And that is the facts. That you know that if Arsenal are going to open you up and you're going to score, you feel as though you're going to get a chance and put the ball in the penalty area, and Arsenal don't defend well enough. I think they foul a lot that referees don't pick up on. I think they switch off and allow runners to run beyond them so often as well. And that's what we saw from them today so often. And as I said, you maybe touched on it before, the only thing about it, and maybe what Seamus Coleman was saying, it should have been 3 or 4 today for Everton. It should have been a lot more convincing for them.
This time next week we're going to be half a mile across Stanley Park for Liverpool against Chelsea.
Yeah.
More twists in the title race this week with Liverpool retaking top spot. We were talking with Gary Breen yesterday about the last month and what Manchester City have had, which is very comfortable, straightforward victories, and Liverpool the fight of their lives to keep this going. Is there a way that makes Liverpool more battle-hardened for the next month, that Manchester City could find themselves caught out when they go to Selhurst Park next Sunday, that it's almost been too easy for them? Or is that possible?
They certainly have a lot more control in games, don't they, City? I think that's it's an easy thing to say, but that's certainly the way that it is for them. I don't know. It's a difficult one to answer as that, because who knows how it's going to be. I'm watching Liverpool seriously thinking in my head they cannot continue to win the way that they're winning games. They were outplayed for long spells, particularly in the first half against Southampton. They should have been probably a couple of goals down, but they're staying in games. They've got the outstanding player in the Premier League, I think, in Van Dijk defensively, and he's almost covering up a lot of the errors that's been made by a number of his teammates defensively. So they are battle hardened. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't disagree with it. I couldn't disagree with that logic, but it's something in my head thinks City will win it because of how much more control they have over games than Liverpool. You've
got a big game Friday, Kev. You're playing in the Sean Cox fundraiser. Do you want to do a couple of laps here and get yourself ready?
No, if I did one lap of this pitch, I'd be knackered, I'd be gone. Hopefully I'll get
Don't embarrass us now,
20 minutes, 25 minutes in the game. When I was playing down in the Liam Miller game down in Cork, I think
it was embarrassing.
It was embarrassing, yeah. And I realised that when you run around for 5 minutes, I was knackered, I was gone. And that was the case with everyone. I think we're on a bit of a smaller pitch this time, which is going to help. That's certainly going to help us. I don't know, I'll maybe just pass it and move it in the middle of the park. Bendy lad.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just like that?
Just like that, yeah.
All right, well, best of luck with it, Kev.
Yeah.
Best of luck with it. We'll be watching closely. We cannot wait. So good win for Everton. We're back next week. Anfield, Liverpool, Chelsea.